From the Independent Women's Forum, Director of Policy Hadley Heath Manning, and also our own Ashley Webster, who's in place there at the New York Stock Exchange today, where we're down 439, Ashley. So this will be an interesting afternoon. You wonder if we're, got a ways to go here, or we'll stabilize for the next couple hours.
You never know what's going to happen all the way to the closing bell, Connell. To your point, it just feels very defensive and bearish right now, and we've been talking about the demise of the tech sector. Look at these stocks. Okay, Boeing, you could say, is a trade concern stock, down 5%. But check out Apple. Again, bad reports about softening demand for the iPhone. That's down nearly 4%. Visa, too, down off nearly 4%. But to get to the big tech, this has been the leader of the bull market, that sector, for so long. It's getting smashed.
Yes.
And what you have is those big institutional investors now are cashing in. They're taking that cash and going defensive into utilities. Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola. Check out the 10-year yield. That's all the way down to 3.6 or thereabouts. So bond prices are going up, the yield's coming down, and it just has that feel about it right now. The sector that's led us for so long is now kind of deflating a little bit, and it's bringing the market down with it. And then, of course, we have the China trade worries. No particular progress there that we can latch on to. And because of that, we definitely have a defensive market right now.
If anything, a lack of progress, which doesn't necessarily rule out some sort of a tweet this afternoon or some sort of a statement that leads you to believe that maybe there will be progress to be made. You always have to be cognizant, Hadley, of that. But to Ashley's point, there's, especially on a Monday holiday week, you'd expect a little bit more from this market. And the fact that we're not getting it, people, a lot of negative people out there. I don't know what to make of it. What do you make of it?
Well, I think Ashley's right to highlight so many of the different factors contributing to today's sell-off. It's not just concerns about trade. However, the vice president's remarks about China over the weekend certainly indicate, as you said, Colin, a lack of progress. We do know President Trump is scheduled to meet with the president of China at the G20 summit later this month. That meeting becomes all the more important now. As we know, January is coming. When Americans start thinking about Thanksgiving and Christmas, we start to think about the new year. In January, about $200 billion of Chinese goods that are facing a 10% tariff rate from the United States right now would face a 25% tariff rate as those rates would increase in January. So we're in a bit of a standoff with China right now. And I know many American consumers and workers hope ultimately that we'll come to a better deal and better trade relations with this country. Do you get
the sense, Hadley, that the president's about to, if double or triple down on the China front, whereas last week we had a number of guests coming out and saying, you know what, maybe he's open to cutting some sort of a deal because it'll help markets. But that's not the kind of thing we've heard over the weekend. So this goes back and forth. That's why I say always be open to some sort of a tweet that says, no, you guys are getting it wrong. I'm not missing the boat on this. I know what's going on. But what direction do you think the president's going, Hadley?
Well, I think we'd be wrong to underestimate President Trump when it comes to trade deals. This has been a top priority of his since he's come into office, and he's done well with the USMCA, the new trade deal here in North America. Now, when it comes to China, I think it's a complex relationship that we have with China. We want to continue to have, good economic relationship with them and to be able to trade with them with minimal barriers. We do understand that sometimes China is a bad actor and they don't play by the rules. They don't respect, for example, protections for American intellectual property. And those are things that we need places where we need to apply pressure. And beyond our economic relationship, we know China, simply has a complex geopolitical relationship with the United States. And so there are headwinds that the president and others will have to navigate coming to this deal, but it's not out of the picture. Certainly we can have good economic relations and continue to work through other aspects of our relationship. And
as I've been saying, it all depends then how the Federal Reserve reacts to all that, Ashley. But I would be remiss if I don't ask you. I always have to ask you a quick question about the homeland. Do you think there are any closer to this no confidence vote on Theresa May, or how's Brexit playing out?
It feels to me like whoever would be behind that confidence vote, Connell, is holding their powder. She's going to go to the EU, to Brussels this weekend, seal off the deal. Then she goes back to Parliament to try and sell it. If it gets voted down in Parliament, then I think a leadership challenge will be launched at that point.
All right, Ashley, we'll see you all afternoon from the New York Stock Exchange. Hadley, always good to see you. We appreciate you coming on. Hadley Heath Manning and Ashley Webster wrapping it up here on Cavuto.